replayers. If you are a replayer, you can tap on the screen for hearts. If you have any questions that I can answer because you're not here live, you can always hit me up on Twitter, same handle, or now on Snapchat. So you can send me a message. Same handle everywhere. Uniform, universal. All right. So, good morning, everyone. Straight in from the gym from my workout and in the cold Chicago weather. Quite the brutal morning once again. But we're here today to talk about cash flowing. If you are new to me, welcome to the daily broadcast on money habits. At 10 a.m. Central Time, I come on for a few minutes, usually 10-15 minutes, to talk to you about developing better money habits, sharing my money tips, money management, and any money tools that come to mind. So, what I want to talk to you today is cash flow. And cash flow, if you're in business or in finance, so cash flow is just something you're familiar with. Now, even if you're in business, doing cash flow is critical, and you may not be getting it done right. I know I work with businesses because I'm a consultant, and it's tricky. It's a tricky beast. But as I was doing my Mint Monday yesterday, I realized that I do something in my head that I want to develop as a little spreadsheet. So I'm going to work on that today, and tomorrow I'm going to show you the spreadsheet of what it is that I mean by cash flowing and how you can project your cash flow. So all cash flowing means, and the way I use it, is predicting when the inflows and the outflows of your cash will happen. So we talk a lot about different financial concepts, and I bring my sort of business background and a corporate background to talk about personal finance. So imagine, so cash flow is knowing that what happens every day with your cash. I'm a big supporter of automating things so that you don't forget and you don't rely on your own, making things easier on yourself so you don't have to rely on your own ability to kind of check in and look after your money. But once you automate things, you still need to know when cash is coming in, when cash is coming out. If there's going to be a shortfall, you need to tap some other source of, whether it's income or savings, and plan for it, so you're not surprised, right? So in our personal financial life, the thing that you're striving for is to limit surprises. So all I mean by cash flowing is actually looking out. I think of everything as a calendar. So this is the idea that I have in my head, and again, I'm going to put together a spreadsheet and show you tomorrow what I mean by that. But it's literally every day, like if you have a spreadsheet, like making a table, even if you draw it with a piece of paper, and have every day of the month, so January 1 through 31, and then put in a plus column and a minus column, right? So plus is when money hits your bank account. If you're a W-2, it's a very predictable thing. Your money, your cash will hit on your paydays. If you have direct deposit, which I highly encourage, you know when it's going to hit, like the day it's going to hit. If you still have a paper check, you may need to make time to deposit. So, but know when money's going to hit your account, right? So do the pluses on every day, and then do the minuses, right? Like when you have automation, your credit card bill comes due, and the money's taken out on a certain date. So, if you have one credit card, that's one payment. If you have a mortgage, you have a loan payment, put those things in, right? And some people are like, well, what level? Like if you start thinking of every single expense, you're like, wow, that's a lot. Does your utilities bill matter? Well, so it depends, right? We talk a lot about buffer, right? Which category of buffer are you in? So if you're if you're only keeping a couple $100 in your account, that's kind of your buffer, which is really, really low. I recommend always $1,000 being your buffer, just for unexpected expenses. You wrote a little check. But if you're sort of in the further stage of life and your expenditures are more, I recommend like $5,000 or $10,000 buffer. And so depending on your buffer, right? So whatever buffer, if the payments 10% or more of your buffer, right? So you kind of have to decide, where your buffer is. And if your outflow is more than 10%, you need to put it in, right? So put your cash outflow on every day. So every day you should predict where your money is going to go. Again, try to get to the point where there are just no surprises in your financial life. And I'm giving you the tools to do it, right? Mint lets you track and see the balances real life, real-time balances and real-time transactions before like the transaction even registers on your credit card. Mint already knows about it, right? Because the flow through of transactions. And but the cash flowing, the projection is what's missing, right? So that's why I call it the missing tool, because it's looking out into the future, and the future is uncertain. And the more predictable you can make your future, and the more you can put it in, in a tool, in a spreadsheet, you write it out, even use it in a calendar. So sometimes I'll just put a note in my calendar. I use Outlook a lot. That's just old school. I was raised on Outlook, so I still use Outlook. And if someone would make a better tool than Outlook for what I need, I would go to it instantly. But in my Outlook, I look at my week ahead or month ahead, and if I have a large transaction happening, I'm going to put it in there. Why? Because I don't want to rely on my memory, and I don't want to, miss it. But that's what I do, and sort of how often I do it allows me to kind of, I'm like, what do I do that's kind of in the back of my head, but it's a little bit lazy. And so so that's what I thought of yesterday, and today I'm talking about it, and tomorrow I'm going to show you this cash flowing tool, this Excel spreadsheet that I have in mind. We're going to put your pluses, so your income, and your minuses, which are your major outflows, whether it's a mortgage payment, whether it's your student loan, car loan, credit card payment, whatever your outflows are, put them in there, and the cutoff is 10% of your buffer. So that's the message for today. Start cash flowing and projecting it. And how far in advance? A month. 30 days is really, we're on the cycle. We're on a monthly cycle, right? Like, just sort of adapt to it. If you're a freelancer or a business owner, you may want to do it a little bit further in advance because your income may be less predictable. So you need to know all your outflows, right? You need to maybe cushion it a little bit and know exactly when those outflows will happen. But when you get constantly surprised when you're not ready, it's because you haven't really put the future ahead of you and you haven't written it down. So I highly recommend it. And come back tomorrow. I'm gonna show you the spreadsheet that I had to create it, right? Like, that's the thing. I'm like, oh, I have an idea. I'm gonna talk about it, and then third, I create it. So on Wednesday, Walk the Walk, I'm gonna create my spreadsheet and give you an example of what it means to project your cash flow, just in a very simple way. And as I talk about it, and in the future I'll make these available, so I have to get organized for some of these things. Anyway, thanks for joining today. If you're a replayer and you have any questions on this or any suggestions, you can always hit me up on Twitter or now on Snapchat, and same username all across my platforms. So thanks a lot, and see you tomorrow.